Governor Janet Mills has assumed office. She becomes Maine's first woman governor, the first governor from Franklin County, and also, I think, a very approachable person. Right after her inauguration, we sat down with her to talk about what a whirlwind period this has been in her life. The Augusta Civic Center was electric as Janet Mills was inaugurated as the 75th governor of Maine.
The duties incumbent on me as governor of the state of Maine.
Her address incited the audience, which she says wants change.
Walking in, it was a thrill. It was such a thrill just to walk in and feel the energy in that room. People want something different. People want a change, and I hope I give that to them.
Janet T. Mills is the middle child of her very political family and perhaps the most easygoing. She went to Gorham schools before moving back to Farmington, where in high school she spent a year in a cast.
I did a lot of schoolwork that year. Got caught up on a lot of schoolwork that year.
Were you a good student?
I was that year.
Her ascent through college wasn't direct. She left Colby to live in San Francisco before eventually graduating from UMass Boston. Her junior year, she studied in Paris and learned to read and write French. She also toured Europe 60s style.
I was hitchhiking. I didn't have much luck on Christmas morning. I walked into this old train station and fell asleep in a chair. An hour or so later, I woke up to hear the sound of a Maine accent the other side of the train station. I woke up with a jerk. I thought I must be hallucinating. I walked over there. The place was deserted. And I said, "Are you from Maine?" He goes, "Hey, yep, David Flanagan, Portland." Oh my God.
She worked in Boston and Washington law offices for a few years before coming back to Maine to go to law school.
We were the first class to have any significant number of women in the law school. And we started a course. I helped write the curriculum for and lobby for a new course on women in the law. We got that in the curriculum. So then I graduated and got a job in the Attorney General's office.
She became the first woman district attorney in New England when she was appointed to that office in Farmington to fill a vacated position for 3 months. She entered her first political campaign and remembers giving a brief speech on why she was running and then was seated.
And somebody in the front row, I think it was Bill Jakes, asked me, "What's your position on child abuse?" And I thought long and hard. I said, "Well, I'm against it." It was the headline in the Lewiston Sun the next day. Mills comes out against child abuse. I thought, this isn't that difficult.
Right. She co-founded the Maine Women's Lobby and in 2008 became Maine's first woman attorney general, a job she covets.
15 or 20 of us get together, and people more notable than I, who have risen in their ranks to do great things, come back to have dinner with Frank Bellotti, and every one of them around the table says the best job they ever had was being Attorney General of their state.
But the most important thing she ever did, in a way, was take tennis lessons. She would fall in love with and marry her tennis instructor, Stan Kuklinski, in 1985.
Probably the least rational thing a person could do, marry a man with 5 daughters, but a widower, but I did it, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Stan passed away in 2014. The 5 daughters now have 5 grandchildren, and they campaigned for Governor Janet, who believes she won when a lot of factors came together.
I think a lot of women were energized, honestly. I felt that on the campaign trail, that women were very, very energized. And I think that Mr. Moody, who's a very proud and smart individual, I liked campaigning alongside him. I think I had a sense that he kind of lost his authenticity, to be honest, and tied himself to the wagon of the previous chief executive too tightly. He didn't feel like he was really himself.
Janet says that's something that won't happen to her. She thinks her authenticity and her approachable, common person style will help her make decisions that have to be made.
I'm Janet Mills. What you get is what you see is what you get. And I'm sure it's quite different from the previous, my predecessor, but I intend to just keep being myself.
Being herself has enabled Janet Mills to make history by becoming the first woman governor of Maine. This might be the year the woman Governor Mills gets elected. Jess Gagne wins Maine Sportscaster of the Year. Congratulations, Jess. And these two ladies are having a delightful lunch.